Well, hi there. So this is going to be the hitches and bends section. Again, not a comprehensive list, just the ones I use all the time, actually. So we'll start off with the most basic one, with our freshly cut bit of wood here. Those silky saws make such nice smooth cuts. Love it. One of the most basic ones is the clove hitch. So for the clove hitch, which is meant to attach a line to an object or another rope, honestly, very temporarily. It's not super secure, but it will always be able to be undone. So we take our line and we lay it diagonally. I'm going to exaggerate this quite a bit. Lay it diagonally across our object, and if you imagine that this was a tree, just reorient yourself. Let's imagine it's a flat pole. We lay it diagonally across. We go behind. We come back up over the top and make an X. Okay? Our free end is on the left now. We come back under and we go under our last part of the X that we made. Now push them together and tighten up from both sides. And that is a clove hitch. Clove hitches and Blake's hitches and constrictor hitches all rely on a convex surface to attach to. They're no good on something rectangular. But for the woods, well, they happen to be full of round things, so very handy. You can see how easy this is to undo. Unlike its sibling, which is almost the same hitch. The mosquitoes have found me. Cross diagonally. Go behind, back over to make our X. But this time, instead of going under this leg, we're going to cross our standing line. We're going to cross the free end over that and then go beneath the center of our entire X that we made. And it doesn't have to be tight when you're getting started. It just has to be in the right place. You'll get a chance to dress it up at the end. Now, unlike the clove hitch, which is quite easy to untie, if this gets serious strain on it, it will be nearly impossible to untie. Typically, you have to cut them free down here or through the center to get your rest of your line back. So if you're looking for something relatively permanent, this is a good choice. What I like to follow up any hitch with, and you'll remember this from one of my first videos, is what's called the Ashley knot stopper, or Ashley stopper, and or the Oysterman stopper. And to do that one, and what this does is it just prevents this free end from having any potential to come back through, because it's going to get stopped. It's a stopper knot. The fastest way that I've ever found to do this is just like a bowline. Hand is away from me. I pinch, I twist, so my free end is over top of the running end. I fold over the running end, and then you'll see that little window there where my running end is in the center of the loop that I folded over. we're going to take the back of our finger and push that through and pinch and pull until it's relatively tight. And this saves you the dressing it up portion of the event. So now our free end is over here. We have a new slipped loop knot. We take our free end, we go away from us, over the running end, and then towards us through that loop. Pull that relatively snug, and then the rest of it is a slip knot, so we just push away until it tightens down. And what you'll get from this, I tend to put my fingers underneath it to cinch it tight. What we'll get from this is this beautiful trefoil shape at the bottom, which has 1, 2, 3 strands in a trefoil, and it's very flat on the bottom. So it gives you a huge amount of surface area to act as a stopper. Sometimes if I need to ensure that I can get one of these undone, I would slip it and pass a fold through at the very end instead of the whole single line, so that I can pull on the single line and pop it free. So these can tighten down pretty drastically. But what this would prevent is my rope is slipping. Oh, no, it's not. And you can see how bulky the bottom of that is. So we'll take that out. We'll take out our Ashley stopper. As you can see, it can bite down. The way to do that slipped, I'll hurry through to the final phase. Fold, fold, poke, cinch, free end goes over the running line, and instead of poking the line through the back of the knot, I'm going to poke a fold of the free end through the back of the knot and just tighten that down. And you get the same effect as your stopper knot. You still get that trefoil at the bottom, but when you want your rope back and you don't want that stopper anymore, you can just pull that free and the whole thing comes undone very easily. So let's go on to a couple of my favorites. This is one called the adjustable grip hitch. It's a variation of the taut line hitch. We'll do that one too, but I don't really use it. I use this one instead. So we have our running end. We make a fold and we grab our free end. We cross our free end over top, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of wraps towards the top of the loop with our free end. So the important thing here is to keep this dressed as you go. So use your fingers to pinch as you work. So we're going to wrap once over the loop, twice over the loop, and for the third wrap, instead of just wrapping this single line, we're going to include both parts of the loop. So we're going to go over just like we have been, and then under the remaining section of loop, and then back through our wrap. Now, as we tighten down, you should see 2 clean wraps down at the bottom, and then our wrap at the top that goes around both parts of the loop. And what this one does is when you apply tension, it doesn't slip. But if you grab part of the loop or grab the knot and start to slide, it'll slide perfectly easily, but it'll hold quite a bit of tension. It's not as good as a trucker's hitch for tightening something down hardcore, but it absolutely will work well for guy lines and something where you just need to pull and hold some tension for a while, and you want to make sure that you can adjust how much tension's on the line over time. One reason I use bank line a lot is because it has almost no stretch. If you're using paracord for guy lines and stuff, a taut line hitch or an adjustable grip hitch, this is the adjustable grip hitch, are great because over a few days of wind and sun and rain and tension, the rope's going to have stretched. And once it's stretched, all you need to do is adjust, and you've got all your tension right back without manipulating anything further. This video is already going to be long enough. I'm not going to do the taut line hitch. I don't use it. I'm going to stick to my guns on this. All right. So now let's do a couple of bends. My personal favorite. I have a rope, and I have another rope. We'll just pretend that these are 2 separate ropes. This could not be easier, and it could not be more secure. It's wonderful. We're going to fold the free end of the rope on the left into a 6 shape, and we're going to fold, and that's with the free end over the top is your 6. So the 6 is on top, and then we're going to do the opposite movement on the other one. We're going to make a 9 with the free end behind the running line. 6 goes on top of the 9. We just overlap those loops. They don't go through each other. They're just laying on top of each other. Now, the free end, of course, if you tried to go this way, it's obviously not going to work. So this one's really easy to remember once you've done it a few times. We're just going to wrap that free end from the 6 around the back of both loops and through the center hole that both loops are making. And then we're going to take and hold it all together. Then we're going to take the tail of our 9 and bring it up front and through the holes. Now we have our free ends through the holes, and you can just manipulate your rear fingers to start tightening down until you get close. And that is the Zeppelin bend. There's a lot of history behind this. A lot of it seems to be apocryphal about it being used to tie down Zeppelin airships rapidly in the field with something that would not slip. That seems to have been made up, but I love the story. But I've heard this described on the International Guild of Knot Tiers. Wow, that's a phrase that never expected to hear myself say. That one of the things that makes this such a perfect bend is that it is a rope-made hinge, in that it distributes its stresses very, very evenly. I've left my tails very short here, just for demonstration purposes. If you really want to use this, and you should, you absolutely should, leave yourself more of a tail. Like I would say, if your rope is, 1/4 inch in diameter, leave yourself like a 3 or 4 inch tail. And you could also put an Ashley stopper on each side, just for security if you absolutely had to have it. But I have never ever had one of these pop free on their own, even with short tails. Now, to get this undone, this is a great part. I'm going to really tension this down. It will always come undone. You grab the back collar and the front collar and flex them away, and boom, done. Now, some people say that you can only use the Zeppelin with same diameter ropes. That is not the case. Let me find something. Well, that's not a good example. Let's pretend that the left line is thinner than the right line, that the right line is twice as thick of a cord as the left line. All you need to do, I'm going to give myself a little more tail this time. We're going to make our 6, an exaggerated 6, with the free end running over top. We're going to make our 9 with the free end going behind the running line. We're going to stack on top, and with our thinner rope, we're going to make 2 wraps through the center instead of 1. This won't affect the function of the knot, but it will add balance for the disparity in their diameters. So we just went through that twice, and then with our thick one, we just go through the one time from the front like we did originally. Start to dress it up, and there's no structural or functional change to the knot with that extra wrap, but that's how you can attach a thin line to a thick line safely. This is a lot more reliable than the sheet bend, and the double sheet bend is pretty good, but I just don't use it when I know the Zeppelin knot, or Zeppelin bend. Let's see. What else did I want to show you here? Yeah, here's a good one, probably a good one to finish up with. This is the double fisherman's. So we take our free end from one line and our free end from another line. This is one that you can either use on one piece of cord to make a permanent large loop with, I mean, it will be permanent. You can forget about getting it apart once it's been strained. This will weld together. Or to attach 2 lines together permanently. The lines should be about the same diameter for this one. So we're going to take one free end, second free end. We're going to lay them parallel across each other, just lying flat together. Now hold one end securely in your back fingers. We're going to work with one end at a time. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross behind. We're going to wrap over both lines. Actually, we'll do a single fisherman's because there's no point. It's just more wraps. But we're basically just making an overhand knot on one side with one line over both lines. And then on the other side, we do the same thing. We wrap back towards the center and come through the loop that just got made. This would be a single fisherman's. If we'd done 2 wraps and went through both of them, that would be a double fisherman's. And 3 wraps is a triple fisherman's, etc. Now you've got an overhand knot across both lines here and an overhand knot across both lines here. Both of them can slide through, but just like the stopper knot, they meet in the middle and link up and can't get past each other. And as much tension as we can pull here, they're never going to go through each other. One nice benefit to the Fisherman series is it leaves a pretty clean knot. You could trim these ends off and weld them shut. I mean, this is polypropylene, so you can melt it and flatten it out with the side of the lighter. Leaves a pretty clean knot that is almost, it's like 2.5 times the diameter of the line itself, but it lays flat. This works great for a loop that you want to, lark's head onto a backpack, or, anything where having a clean, tubular, flattish knot would be helpful. Something that's going to get dragged over things, it would have a hard time snagging. So that is the Fisherman series. This is a single. For a double, you just make two wraps before you do your overhand through them. If I'd pulled tension on that, I would not be getting that out. And I think we'll wrap up with something I probably use most frequently out in the woods. Again, well, I might do the Alpine or the Blake's hitch as well. So the Marlin spike hitch. Easiest way to do it, it's just like making an oysterman stopper or an Ashley stopper, either way. Hand away from us, pinch the rope of the free end, fold over the running line, take our new loop, fold over the running line. We have our window there with our running line showing through it. We pull that through some, and then we insert an object through that fold. This is a simple slip knot that's not being allowed to slip. So the one thing to keep in mind is whichever direction I folded towards in the first place is going to be the direction I can't pull from. So if I folded that way to start with, the direction of force I can apply is the opposite way. So now with my stick toggle in there, I have a very secure handle that I can pull a huge amount of tension on, and when I'm done, it just pops right free. You haven't lost any line at all. It's really, really handy. I'll use stick toggles for even things like carrying thin-handled grocery bags that are overloaded, or trash bags with a lot of stuff in them to keep the plastic from, cutting into finger nerves. I hate that feeling. But when you need to pull tension on a trucker's hitch, that Marlin spike and toggle trick will really help you get it incredibly tight. Trying to do it by hand is irritating and not necessary. So we'll do one more that I use on occasion. Give ourselves quite a bit of free end. This is called the Blake's hitch, and it's an adjustable hitch for being able to pull downward on the line, but also being able to slide the knot up and down as needed and having it stay where it's put until you adjust it. So we're going to wrap over our tree. We're going to pretend this is a vertical tree here. And we're going to wrap 5 times, and do this kind of loosely because you're going to need some slack at the end. So we're going to wrap 5 times, and then we're going to come on our final wrap. We're going to cross over our running end and go back behind. So we've made a loop there. We came behind, over our running end, and back behind. And then we take our free end and we tuck it between the final 2 or the final 3 loops. I've seen it both ways. Then we dress down our tension. And it's very, very, very important that when you go over your running end, that you come all the way back behind before you do your tuck. Don't just come, over here and tuck. But I can apply a lot of force here, and it's not going anywhere, but I can freely slide that up the tree as needed. That is the Blake's hitch. And it also doesn't jam up on you and can be pretty easily undone. So considering this is going to be a 40-minute video, I think we'll save neat things to do with Prusicks and lark's heads and bull hitches for another time with practical application. But that's all I had for you today. Just some of my favorite hitches and bends that I use all the time outside. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and hope you have a great week. Till next time. Bye.